Hello and welcome back to cedh Bling Builds, where this series is following the Ikoria Apexes and trying to make the most optimal versions of them as possible. Some of them being more cedh than others, and the rest not so much. So this is episode 4 out of 5, and we have a Snapdax Apex of the Hunt. It's a nerfed mardu ad naus turbo naus deck, right? What is this? So when I say nerfed, it could be like Timna Red turbo naus farm deck, and so that's what this deck is. A lot of these apexes are just nerfed versions of their top tier competitive versions, and so I placed Snapdax as the 4th best out of the 5, but in hindsight, as I was building this deck, there have been a lot of new pieces that have been added to the deck, where I might consider Snapdax the 3rd best, right above Nethroi, in terms of competitiveness. Actually, Snapdax is the best one out of all of them where it comes to versatility, because you could play Snapdax as a pretty casual laid-back deck where you just mutate onto like a lifelinker or flying or an infect and just start beating face. So there are a handful of cards in this deck which give me that opportunity to just beat face with Snapdax. And then, of course, the rest are just your standard turbo naus in mardu pieces. So, yeah, let's get into the deck. In typical fashion, we have a Snapdax, Apex of the Hunt, Snapdax, Apex of the Hunt, and Snapdax, Apex of the Hunt. Oh, it's like a dim foil. And we're in mardu, so of course we're going to do Underworld Breach things. And we're going to find this combo in our deck, Dualcaster Mage Twin Flame. The way the combo goes is you will Twin Flame targeting something else, right? Some creature you control. And then just flash in the Dualcaster, copy the Twin Flame. The Twin Flame copy will copy this Dualcaster, and so on and so forth, creating an infinite Dualcaster Mage with haste, and that is a wrap. We have a Leonin Relic Water combo in the deck as well. Of course, that combo aims to reanimate, animate dead using these animate dead auras. While Leonin's in the graveyard, targeting the Leonin. Leonin will ETB. He will target the aura that will be banished. Then the Leonin will die, and the aura will come back, and it's an infinite loop. And so you need something to do with that infinite loop. You have either Corpse Knight or a Mayhem Devil to do something with that infinite loop. Mayhem Devil is just a general good card on its own. With all these treasures, people are just going to wind up treasures and fetches. You're just going to wind up pinging people every time they just play the game. And then we have our Talk Blocker package, Grand Abolisher, and the Flame Scroll. Flame Scroll, of course, turns into Revel in Silence, which is just a silence for 1 extra white. And then we have our Pseudo Silence Ranger Captain of Eos, but this deck has a ton of 1-drops, so you get a ton of Ranger value. Recruiter of the Guard, Imperial Recruiter, all to get your combo pieces. Timna is not at the helm, she's in the 99. We have a Timna the Weaver. And this deck, I do like a Voidwalker in, because we're in red, we have access to wheels, and we're going to wheel and deal and get a better value out of our wheels. Dark Confidant, because it's just in general, just a really good, strong card. And Dockside Extortionist, so many bullshit things you could do with Dockside, and he just gets the party started. And then with Dockside, we'll get into our ritual creatures. We have a Simian Spirit Guide, Skirt Prospector, a Blood Pet, and then he should have been in my cock block package. Hope of Herapur, Asper Sentinel, tremendous value. Children of Corliss, because I could just crack an ad naus early game and then crack the children and gain that life back and just try to dig deeper in my combo. Maybe if I do that, it allows me to crack a ad naus again later in that turn through like a Underworld Breach or something. Serra Ascendant, just the main agenda of this deck in Mardu farm is to poke at your opponent with these lifelink creatures, gain as much life as possible so that you can get a thick, juicy ad naus. Stitcher Supplier, which is a really good card. It's a mutate target, sure, whatever. But it also is nice to help fill up your graveyard. Ragavan, just in general, a really gross card. Oh, this is me having some fun, right? So we have our Snapdax targets, right? If I'm just gonna beat face with Snapdax, we have our Vampire of the Dire Moon, which is a 1-drop with Death Touch and Lifelink, really nice. Healer's Hawk, 1-drop with Flying Lifelink, and a Vault Scourge, which is pretty much just a 1-drop with a Flying Lifelink. There are two other, right? They're like two cheap infect creatures, but that was this build many months ago. But with the inclusion of like Ragavan and Revel in Silence and a lot of new pieces that come out, like they just got power crept out of the power crept. They're not amazing cards, but these are the type of little changes you can make to your deck to depending on your play group. And then we go into our counter package. We're in Mardu, so everything's a soft counter. We have our Silence, Abeyance, Red Elemental Blast, and a Pyroblast, and a Deflecting Swat. Unlike the other Apexes from previous videos that are never really on the board until it's time to combo off, and then they're just part of the combo, so they're this cycle of cards that doesn't really work well with them. Snapdax might be on the board. If I have a chance to cast a Snapdax, or mutate him, or just if I have a chance to cast him for 4 or mutate him. The mutate's a little rough, right? Because it's in double white, and as we know, white is really difficult to cast. Not so much anymore, though, with the release of certain lands over the last couple of months, and we'll see that. But Snapdax will be on the board most of the time, just beating the shit out of opponents. And it is important to bring him on the board as soon as possible to beat the shit out of opponents, because the more he does his double strike bullshit with lifelink and flying and this and that and death touch, the less impactful your opponent's ad nauseum will be. So that's something to consider. Our tutor package, we have our Vampiric Tutor, Gamble, Imperial Seal, Diabolic Intent, because there's so many little teeny tiny things on board I could just sack to. Demonic Tutor, Tainted Pact, Praetor's Grasp, which is still really good. I could still pull off a Thassa Consult, right? I could still Thassa Tainted Pact if done right. Not if done right, but if lucky enough. A ritual package. Ritual package is particularly thick. We have our dark ritual, Cabal ritual, culling the weak, rain of filth, rite of flame, infernal purge, plunge, and Jessica's will. So I will be casting ad naus or appearance of the abyss super quickly, if I get these cards into my hand. And then a removal package, we have a braid and a fire covenant. That's it. I really don't have the space, so this is a glass cannon deck that just wants to fight. If anything, I would just have to Praetor's Grasp an opponent's spot removal, right? That's awkward. Our draw package, very tiny because we're in Mardu. It's not what Mardu does best, but we have a Faithless Looting, a Wheel of Misfortune, and a Wheel of Fortune. And then, of course, the inevitable Obligatoria, Ad naus, and Peer into the Abyss. And then I think just the best of the rest, the Savine's Reclamation. There's no Yawgmoth's Will in this deck. I just couldn't fit it, but I don't think the deck needs to do that. I think I could find a Underworld Breach combo quick enough, and I don't need that sort of level of recursion. And then our artifact package, Jeweled Lotus, so we could just get Snapdax on board really quickly. Lotus Petal, LED, Felwar Stone, Arcane Signet, Chrome Mox, Mox Opal. The artifact count is barely high enough to pull it off. And a Mox Diamond. And then our colors, we have a Mana Crypt, Soul Ring, Grim Monolith, and a Mana Vault. And then our utility artifacts, we have a Wishclaw Talisman and a Grinding Station. A Grinding Station is very nice tech with Underworld Breach. The idea is you use your mana positive rocks while you're doing Underworld Breach shit, and you'll tap it and sack it and mill just to feed your Underworld Breach lines. It seems really narrow, but it's really important, especially if you have a early Underworld Breach. All the permanents in play, but the graveyard's a little thin. And then wrapping things up, we have our lands, we have our 9 fetches as always. We have our 3 duels, our 3 shocks, and then just the 1 basic. If I had space for a second basic, it would just be a Snow Swamp. Not a mountain, and definitely not a plains. But some newly released lands, which, take like a Mardu Turbo Naus decks over the edge. We have our Luxury Suite, which has been out for a while. But what we have, and not a Silent Clearing. These things, these Commander Legends cards. So with Commander Legends and Modern Horizon 2, and to an extent Strixhaven, right? There are a bunch of black and white spot removal, so it's just a meta call. All these cards really help Turbo Naus decks. So we have a Vault of Champions, Sight and Clearing, Spectator Seeding, Sunbaked Canyon. These colors, I mentioned it before, no hard feelings. I just don't care about these colors, so I'm not going to bother foiling them out. Sorry. A Boseiju, just to make your PETA and your Ad naus uncounterable. Ancient Tomb, Phyrexian Tower. It's proved its mettle, so I'll probably just foil this out eventually. And then the Rainbow Lands, Gemstone Cavern, Mana Confluence, City of Brass, and a Command Tower. And so that is Snapdax in 2021. One more video, right? Almost done with this series. One more video, and we are done. but it's going to be underwhelming, the last video. And you'll see why when it comes out. I'll probably put that out in a couple of minutes. But yeah, that's a Snapdax Apex of the Hunt in 2021. Just a nerfed version of a Timna Red Turbo Naus deck. Thank you.